Welcome everyone to 284 News. My name is Javon Wilson.
I'm Kamal Haynes.
And I'm Ron Grant.
And we are so thrilled and happy to be coming to you live out of the beautiful British Virgin Islands. The content continues via our website, 284media.com.
In today's news, hand, foot, and mouth disease on the rise in the BVI, with 5 cases reported in the last month.
The Rotary Club Sunrise donates water tank to the Francis Letson Primary School through its Power of One initiative.
And investigations revealed that decade-long spalling process resulted in the collapse of the inner roof of the Althea Scattliffe Primary School.
An amazing donation by the Lions Club. They present $5,000 to the BVI National Culinary Team.
And cartoon image published on local media site VINO labeled as discriminatory and a form of bullying as it receives heavy criticism from members of the BVI community. We get to these and more stories when 284 News return.
You value traditions. You value music. You value education. Family.
I love you.
Service.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
Well, welcome everyone. A blessed Monday to everyone. It's Monday, November 8th, 2021. I'm Kamal Haynes.
And I'm Ron Grant. We're coming to you live and direct from the beautiful British Virgin Islands. Of course, a happy Monday to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we get into our newscast, of course, a lot's going on in the Virgin Islands. Honorable De Castro has been challenged by discrepancies in Speaker's actions. The UK to fund $260K renewable energy project, and 9 local firms submit tenders for the demolition and debris clearance at the Elmore-Stout High School. In addition to that, some VI banks are said to be treating customers horrible, says social commentator Mr. Claude Skelton-Klein.
Our viewers, we start with news from the Ministry of Health, where hand, foot, and mouth disease is on the rise in the British Virgin Islands, with 5 reported cases over the last 4 weeks. But this is according to national epidemiologist Harmony Messiah, who made a comment in a recent media release from the Ministry of Health, which was published on Friday, November 5th. Well, hand, foot, and mouth disease is generally a mild disease caused by a group of viruses called Coxsackie viruses. It mainly affects infants and young children less than 5 years old, but can also occur in older children and adults. Well, Messiah said the disease is spread from person to person through coughing, sneezing, and contact with infected feces, through changing a diaper, or touching surfaces or objects which have been contaminated with the virus. Well, she said, and I quote, "Well, symptoms usually begin with a fever, sore throat, reduced appetite, and a general feeling of being unwell. Within a day or 2 after the first symptoms, a rash and bumps may appear on the soles of the feet, palms of the hands, and inside the mouth. A rash may also develop on the elbows, knees, and buttocks, where the bumps may blister but do not cause itching," end quote. Well, the national epidemiologist said that there are asymptomatic cases where infected persons can still transmit the disease, adding that due to the mildness of the illness, persons usually recover between 7 to 10 days. Well, she said, and I quote, "We need daycare institutions to adhere to proper hygiene and sanitization practices, and sick children should be kept at home until they are well to limit spread of the infection in schools and daycare institutions," end quote. Well, the ministry said there is no specific treatment for this disease, but advised that symptoms can be treated to provide relief. Well, the ministry stated, and I quote, "Acetaminophen or ibuprofen can be used to manage the fever and pain. Or persons with the virus need to drink enough fluids to prevent dehydration. Well, cold liquids are usually preferable. Spicy and acid foods should be avoided as they may cause discomfort." Where the ministry added, to reduce the risk of getting infected with hand, foot, and mouth disease and prevent the spread of the virus, parents and care workers are encouraged to wash hands often with soap and water, especially after changing diapers. Adults should help young children do the same, end quote. But the ministry is also asking persons to avoid touching their eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. Well, persons are also being asked to disinfect surfaces and objects such as toys and doorknobs, and to avoid close contact such as hugging, kissing, and sharing eating utensils with persons who have hand, foot, and mouth disease. Around obviously the symptoms of this virus is pretty close to that of COVID-19 in terms of the coughing and stuff.
Correct.
And also too, it shows that good practices of sanitization and hands washing, etc., goes a long way, not only with the COVID-19, but with a lot of these other diseases that are very harmful to children.
I could not agree with you more. It's essential that we continue to practice proper hygiene across all establishments and within our homes. So we continue to wish the youth of our territory, particularly in this instance, the best of health. Continuing on, viewers, the BVI National Culinary Team are the recipients of a $5,000 check from the Lions Club of Tortola following a successful Taste and Serve BVI fundraising event that raised some $18,000 in proceeds. Now, the fundraising evening was hosted by His Excellency, the Governor John J. Ranking at Government House on World Food Day observed in October. It was comprised of gourmet delicacies, perfectly paired wines, and a silent auction featuring a range of gifts from the hospitality, arts, and business sector. Platinum event sponsor for Taste and Serve BVI was Caribbean Cellars. Contributing sponsors were BVI National Culinary Team, Rosewood, Little Dix Bay, Scrub Island Resort, Wyndham Lambert Beach Resort, Sabre Rock Resort, DJ Push Pop, Super Value, One Mart Superstore, TravelWise Limited, Bobby's Marketplace, Mr. Cleve Farrington, Driftwood Spa, Eco Adventures, Gumption Learning Adventures, House of Luxury, Captured Photography, Ocean Spa, Sikani, the Poetry Garden, and Ray Vaughn Colwood. Now, the first vice president of the Lions Club, Kimika A. Forbes, expressed her appreciation to the BVI and said, "This event was the first of its kind for the club, and we are extremely grateful for the partnership of His Excellency the Governor, the BVI National Culinary Team, and our numerous contributing sponsors in helping the Lions Club of Tortola to achieve our goal. We especially thank our patrons who attended and supported this cause." Now, first Vice President Forbes added, "The proceeds raised will assist the community projects organized by the club, and we are proud to be able to present a check for $5,000 to the BVI Chamber of Commerce and Hotel Association to invest in the development needs of the BVI National Culinary Team as they prepare for the 2022 Taste of the Caribbean competition in the United States." Speaking on behalf of the governor at the check handover on November 2nd, 2022 was Deputy Governor Mr. David Archer Jr., who expressed that the Governor Ranking spoke quite highly of the event and the pairings and believed that it was critical for the Governor's office to help raise funds for such an amazing program. The Deputy Governor added, and I quote, "We happen to be in Cultural and Tourism Month, and we are more pleased and represent BVI culture than our food. We know that BVI National Culinary Team is quite successful and has been a part of a long tradition where we have always done very well." He also commended the participation between the Lions Club and the BVI Chamber of Commerce and Hotel Association, also known, of course, as BVI CCHA, and the work done, and wished the BVI National Culinary Team much success. Executive Director of the BVI CCHA, Kiaya Jackson George, stated, and I quote, "I'm immensely proud of this team. This was the first time I've seen them in action since becoming the Executive Director. They've had many events planned and made several attempts to implement plans only to see events canceled, due of course to current state of the world. They didn't lose focus, they stayed connected and forged ahead." She also added, having their inaugural event since winning silver competition with the Lions Club was a great way to showcase their talents to residents who may not have experienced the team, and a great opportunity to serve the community of the Virgin Islands. "You have not seen the last of the BVI National Culinary Team," she said, "and you have not seen the last of the participation between the BVI CCHA and the Lions Club." Now, viewers, as a result of the overwhelming response received, the Lions Club of Tortola will be adding Taste and Serve BVI to its list of signature fundraising events held annually. A beautiful event, Kamal, and we continue to wish not only the Lions Club of Tortola, but the BVI National Culinary Team, along with the BVI CCHA, much success.
Indeed. Well, viewers, up next, investigations reveal that decade-long spalling process resulted in the collapse of the inner roof of the Althea Scattliffe Primary School, and Rotary Club Sunrise donates water tank to the Francis Letson Primary School through its The Power of One initiative. We get to these and more stories after a word from our sponsors. Welcome back, viewers. Well, investigations have revealed that the collapsed roof of the Althea Scattliffe Primary School was caused by a natural process called spalling, which mounted several pieces of concrete on the inner roof of the building, leading to its eventual breakdown. But this was revealed by Education Minister Dr. Natalia Wheatley, who made a disclosure during Thursday's sitting of the House of Assembly that was on November 4th. Well, he said this information was relayed to him by a structural engineer who assessed the area of the school where the roof had collapsed.
Althea Scattliffe is a very old building with a crumbling infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, there is a process called spalling. I was introduced to this concept by the engineer that took a look, the structural engineer that took a look at the Althea Scattliffe Primary School building. Spalling is where you get water that gets into the concrete, perhaps through the roof, that probably needs to be resealed. And the steel inside the concrete starts to expand. And when that steel expands, the concrete cracks and it pushes off the concrete. And the concrete would therefore fall. And that was happening on the roof of Althea Scattliffe, and pieces of concrete were falling. I'm told this process can start as early as 15 years into the construction of a building. Mr. Speaker, so possibly for the past 25 years, pieces of concrete have been falling from the roof at Althea Scattliffe Primary School. It's not something that just started.
Well, Dr. Wheatley criticized the pioneer behind the creation of the drop ceiling at the school, stating that it was not a good decision even back then.
Somewhere along the line, way before I was the Minister of Education, someone made a decision, I'm not sure who, to put a drop ceiling beneath the crumbling roof. So, and they put the drop ceiling there to stop the concrete from falling to the floor. It was not a good decision. I'll put it that way. So for years, this concrete would have been falling on the drop ceiling. And when it got heavy enough on the drop ceiling collapsed.
The Education Minister said it was God's blessing that the roof opted to collapse on the 2 days of the week that children were not permitted to be at school, stating, and I quote, "God has been good to us. That could have been a real tragedy," end quote. Well, he said the thought of children being present in that classroom during that day brought tears to his eyes, and said he believes the sparing of such an incident is symbolic.
This story of the roof at Althea Scattliffe is symbolic of so many things. Symbolic of me, Mr. Speaker, because I feel the Virgin Islands has been going through a tough time. It's like we ourselves have been bearing this weight on our spirits for some time now. You have hurricanes, you have pandemic, you have COI. Like those pieces of concrete falling over time. And after a while, you can't take the weight anymore. And it feels like everything is collapsing around you. And the public feels like that.
Well, viewers, initial reports indicated that no student or teachers was present in the classroom when the roof collapsed, and therefore no injuries were reported. Ron, we are thankful to hear that there were no injuries as a result of that incident, which could have been a tragedy should it have been a different day that incident did occur.
Definitely, we're thankful that our students were spared. Now, continuing on the local scene here in the British Virgin Islands, recently, during the month of October, Rotary International focused on community and economic development. One of the millions of dollars raised internationally, Rotary Club Sunrise of Rowtown chose to show their support locally through the Power of One Community Initiative. Now, the Power of One Community Initiative was created to highlight the important work each of us can do, they say, as citizens to make our community a better place. By inspiring others, individuals, and collectively, Rotary Club Sunrise of Rowtown showcased improvements, cleanup efforts, planting initiatives of various group projects, and collaborations within the community and in the schools. Now, the aim of this, they say, is to foster a sense of community spirit, BVI pride, and a message of hope and resilience. During the month of October, Rotary Club Sunrise was involved in a Reading is Fun week, planting initiatives, and most recently a project geared at improving water sanitization and water preservation. Under the Power of One community, the Francis Letson Primary School were the recipients of a water tank. Now, the grounds of the Francis Letson Primary School continue to be very saturated after much torrential rains and sprouting, and gutters need to be replaced, and there is an overflow of the water. With the help of community businesses, a water tank was donated along with the construction of a concrete base to stabilize the tank once the water fills up. Now, the water tank provides a catchment for the future rains and a backup water supply that is much needed, really, at the Francis Letson Primary School if the government water supply is suspended for general maintenance or any other reasons. Now, this initiative was made possible through the collaboration of Rotary Club Sunrise of Rowtown and various sponsors such as Comar Trading Limited, Frozen Imports, and JBF Construction and Heavy Equipment. As Rotarians serve, they say, to change lives, the Rotary Club Sunrise of Rowtown is encouraging all of us to help and continue to each improve our community, one person, one business, one group at a time. Together, they say we can achieve great things for our community, and this is the Power of One community. The Rotary Club Sunrise wishes to invite groups and businesses to partner with the club throughout the years on their various community projects. They are also asking for the public to kindly share their stories and pictures by emailing Rotary Sunrise Club BVI, that is Rotary Sunrise Club BVI at gmail.com. Beautiful example, Kamal, of corporate partnership. Again, a Rotary comes to the rescue in the form of Rotary Sunrise BVI.
Indeed. Our viewers, up next, cartoon image published on local media site VINO labeled as discriminatory and a form of bullying as it receives heavy criticism from members of the BVI community. And Miss BVI commenced reign with an extensive 2 weeks of activities. We get to these stories when 284 News return.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media at cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Well, thank you for sticking with us, viewers. Well, a cartoon image which has since been taken down from the Virgin Islands News online website has received heavy criticisms from the BVI public following its controversial encrypted message. Well, the image portrayed a cartoon character which closely resembled at least two prominent faces in the territory, most notably talk show host and community activist Cindy Roseanne Jones. We're taking to social media to speak on the distastefulness of the image was psychologist and business owner Dr. Michael Turnbull. Well, he said the cartoon image was a blatant sign of hate and discrimination, and one that exhibited all the characteristics of online bullying. Well, Dr. Turnbull added that it also showed the lack of disregard from the online news website, an action which he said it is usually plants the seed that adds to the already existing issue of mental health in the territory.
In sight of what is happening in our country right now, to put out a post where someone, although you may agree or disagree with her political views, there is a right for everyone to be able to speak freely in the name of justice. And for that to be used of where cartoons and newspapers have a history of supposed to be allegorical, using a parable or satirical meaning to draw something deeper, I became satirical in trying to find what the deeper meaning could possibly mean. And it just shows that we need ethical standards in news reporting that allow people not to feel victimized and hide behind a news media outlet. It is not fair. It's not what we as a Virgin Islands people should represent. It does not dictate our ethical standards. And it shows that we are hypocritical in our approach to a lot of things, because this is nothing short of victimization, marginalization, and bullying, something that we campaigned about 2 weeks ago. And as a psychologist, it further deepens because it uses a mental health ward, and we have been trying so much within the Caribbean to destigmatize mental health and well-being and to make it a natural conversation in our community. And for this to be used in such a simplistic way to throw a jab at opposing voice is just, at the simplest sense, unethical and cannot be tolerated.
Well, Dr. Turnbull said that cartoon images of such nature are normally used to push underlying messages through sarcasm and metaphors, which causes people to interpret and think, but on a positive note. Well, he said this message was deplorable and contained nothing whatsoever that could possibly push the BVI culture and cause the people of the territory to think positively.
A joke, regardless, when people bully people, they're doing it at the fun of the jest of others. It's a joke for them, but the person that is on the other side is not taking it jokingly. It affects their self-esteem, their self-worth, and the overall well-being. When you look at how, if you look at the underlying meaning, are they saying, and I'm saying it satirically, as a satire, because I know that that's not what they mean. They're not that smart to think on that level. Shouldn't say that, but they're not thinking on that level to say, well, let's use a woman who has maybe recently separated. Is that saying that she's less valuable? Is that saying that people that have different socioeconomic statuses are somewhat less privileged to be able to speak? These things are not tolerated. They're not tolerable. We should not tolerate them in our society. Freedom of speech requires responsibility. You can talk and have dissenting voices. You can share opposing views without being able to just talk down and discriminate and marginalize and victimize people. That is not the society, the community that we should be cultivating in the 21st century, especially after women, and especially women of color, have had to fight for so many rights, even right now. So it has deeper underlying meanings. And to simplify it to just to say it's a joke or some type of satire, this is not satirical. This is a blatant attack.
Well, Dr. Turnbull said he has no issues with anyone or entity expressing their freedom of speech, but said it should be done in a responsible manner. Around this was a very hot topic last week, this would have brought somewhat of a rage in the BVI community. We would have seen members of Parliament, members of the House of Assembly commenting on this during the House of Assembly's proceedings last week, most notably Shireen Flats Charles, which would have basically brought up, I think that video would have had more than 6,000 views. And also persons were commenting. And just to get to what Dr. Turnbull said, I mean, he was one of the first to take it to social media. He was one of the voices that spoke on the mental health aspect of it. Because of
as he should in his profession, yes.
Yeah, because for some may look at it as a joke and as fun, because it's not them that the image is depicting, or it's not them that the image is basically portraying or talking about. But what he said is that, you know, it's no fun and games when it comes to mental health, especially what we've seen as of within the last 2 years or so in terms of mental health and the critical nature of it, and why persons should take it seriously and not overlook that aspect of it, because it's no fun and games.
I do applaud the persons within our BVI community, such as Dr. Michael Turnbull, and of course, at-large representative, the Honorable Shireen Flax-Charles, for unapologetically bringing this matter to the forefront. And we do hope that the conversation continues in regards to the defense of persons when it comes to mental health, and of course the understanding that subliminal messages do have quite an impact on persons. Viewers, we're closing out to the newly crowned Miss British Virgin Islands. Caitlin Archibald Drew has already commenced a steady pace of engagement within the Virgin Islands community after participating in a series of activities over the past 2 weeks. Now, in speaking on her experiences as the Miss British Virgin Islands Queen thus far, Caitlin said, and I quote, "I truly believe I have the best job in the world. This first week, I was interviewed on JTV, The Big Story, gave anti-bullying presentations at 3 schools, encouraging students to always be kind no matter what, and I attended a brunch bringing awareness to spina bifida in the Virgin Islands. I am so excited to continue to serve, and I can't wait to see what's next." Caitlin has been an integral part of the Anti-Bullying Week activities hosted in the territory between October 17 and 23rd. She made presentations to students at the Althea Scattliffe Primary School, Siboney School of Excellence on Virgin Gorda, and the junior students at the Elmore Stout High School, accompanied by the 2021 Prince and Princess. Now, viewers, during her presentation, to the students, Caitlin discussed experiencing bullying from both perspectives of being the bully to that of being bullied. Now, in addition to the Anti-Bullying Week activities, Caitlin made several media appearances on JTV's Big Story, Tola Radio, VI Morning Broth, Let's Fuse VI's The Morning Brew, and of course here on 284 Media to discuss how she intends to expound on her platform, ambassadorship, service at home, representation abroad. As part of her weeks of activities and appearances, the Miss BVI Queen collected her phone and contract from CCT BVI Life Unlimited and had the opportunity for a pop-up with the Virgin Islands Motors owner, Mr. Alan Parker, thanking him, of course, for the sponsorship of her Honda CR-V. The Queen was the focal point of the Queen's Court Parade that also featured the 2021 Miss British Virgin Islands and, of course, the Prince and Princess participants that was held at the last week in October. Now, viewers, Spina Bifida VI on October 24th, and she also participated in the Royal Reading Tea Party themed luncheon at the Althea Scattliffe Primary School on October 29th as part of their activities in observance, of course, of a Reading is Fun week. Caitlin will culminate her first 2 weeks as the newly crowned Miss BVI at the Jalil Cameron Foundation Flea Market, which was a huge success, whereby, of course, the proceeds raised went to needy families within the territory. Miss BVI is the longest running pageant, as we all know, within the Virgin Islands, and Miss Caitlin Drew Archibald is the 66th young woman to hold the title of Miss BVI during the 67th year of the pageant's existence. We continue to wish her the very best in all her endeavors. A beautiful example, cabal of poise, elegance, and dignity, and we absolutely look forward to hearing much more from her platform, which is ambassadorship.
Indeed, yes, and also to add to that accolade that you just listed, and brains.
Absolutely.
Viewers, so that's it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com and like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Kamal Haynes.
And I'm Ron Grant. It is always a pleasure to bring you the local happenings, both locally, regionally, and internationally. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a beautiful rest of the day and have a happy Monday. Bye-bye.